Children's drawings that can send shivers down adults' spines, can you believe it? The first drawing I want to mention was shared by a mother on social media in 2015. The drawing was created by her 6-year-old son, who, every night between 12 a.m. and 5 a.m., would run to his parents' room crying. He claimed that someone would step out from the wardrobe at the foot of his bed and stare at him. His parents checked the room, but found no one, and both the wardrobe and under the bed were empty. The issue was that his older sister, a few years older, also slept in the same room, but she said she experienced nothing unusual. Finding it peculiar, the parents asked him to draw what he had seen, and this eerie drawing made everyone gasp. There was the creature he said always emerged from the wardrobe, and the dark figure by the window was the head of a man, and these two creatures always appeared together. After moving the wardrobe to another room and nailing shut that window, the strange occurrences ceased. And the second painting, as well as the story behind it, truly gave me the chills. This painting was drawn by Peter, a 6-year-old boy in 2012, and it was discovered in his room by his 8-year-old sister named Chelsea. It depicted a family sitting down for dinner, and the sketchy lines were undoubtedly those of a 6-year-old. Tracy mentioned that she could recognize all the family members in the painting, including a family dog and cat. However, there was one person Tracy didn't know, a stranger man sitting on the floor behind them. Out of curiosity, Tracy asked her younger brother, but Peter just shook his head, saying he wasn't allowed to reveal it. As you can see, the man in the painting was dressed in black with red hair and a beard. Since Peter refused to speak, Tracy took the painting and told their parents. She thought maybe her little brother had drawn an imaginary friend, or someone adults couldn't see. That evening, their parents questioned Peter again, but it was in vain. After that day, Tracy felt the responsibility to keep a closer eye on her younger brother. One day, when their parents were out while she was downstairs, Tracy heard Peter whispering something on the second floor. When she got there, she only saw him playing on the ground. Perhaps he was just talking to himself. But a strange thing was, there was an unfamiliar candy on the floor, and their parents had never bought that type of candy. When Chelsea was about to take the candy away, Peter yelled to leave it right where it was immediately, and of course Peter also refused to say where the candy came from. Suspecting a stranger might have broken into the house, the parents locked their son in his room and checked the entire house, but found no one. That night, Tracy once again heard Peter whispering in his room, and this time she saw her younger brother standing in front of the wide-open window. Outside, there was a stranger man attempting to climb into the room. Terrified, Tracy screamed loudly, and the unknown man took the opportunity to flee. When the police arrived, that's when Peter was forced to confess everything. The stranger man warned Peter that if he told anyone, he would never come to play with the boy again. Peter had met him about a week before, while walking down the street. The man approached him, gave him candy, and asked Peter to show him which window was in his room. Have you ever wondered what goes on in the mind of a person inclined towards violence from a very young age and what they might be capable of? I believe the following story might help you answer that question. The story begins when Jeremy's father posted a story about this picture on social media, seemingly very concerned about his son's thoughts and behavior. This is Tom, and the boy drew the picture when he was 7. Jeremy and his wife have a small family with 3 sons, and Tom is the eldest. Due to the nature of their work, they often have to be away from home, so the responsibility of taking care of the 3 sons falls mostly on their grandmother, Claire, who is Tom's maternal grandmother, and quite strict. As you know, at Tom's age he is going through a rebellious phase and doesn't appreciate being imposed upon, so he doesn't have much affection for his grandmother. Then one day when Jeremy and his wife were not at home, Claire still came to look after their grandchildren. While tidying up the toys scattered in the living room, Claire suddenly heard the cries of the youngest grandchild from the kitchen. It turned out that Tom had pushed his younger brother because the two were fighting over the last ice cream in the fridge. Indeed, this had happened a few times before. Tom tended not to share or be considerate with his younger siblings. As usual, Claire scolded Tom and confined him to his room for the rest of the day. When Jeremy returned, Claire informed him about Tom's defiant attitude, and she also heard him shouting and smashing everything in his room. Jeremy and his wife were furious about Tom's unruly behavior. They went to his room to reprimand him, but when they opened the door, they saw Tom standing in the middle of the room, staring at them with a sinister smile. The room looked like a battlefield, with colored pencils and torn paper scattered on the floor. That's when Tom handed them this drawing. In the painting, Tom is holding a saw, and a person is hanging upside down, undoubtedly meant to be Claire. Meanwhile, Tom drew his parents standing from a distance, smiling. Jeremy thought his son might have some neurological disorder, and the couple decided not to tell Claire about this because it would be heartbreaking to know that their own grandson harbored such hatred. However, Jeremy later took Tom to see a psychiatrist. At first, the boy refused to talk, but when his parents left the room, he became a bit more cooperative. He told the psychiatrist that more than once, he had wanted to hurt his siblings, grandmother, and school teachers. Currently, the boy is undergoing intensive treatment. And this is Creep Factor. Thank you for taking the time to watch the entire video. And if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more interesting contents.